On a chilly autumn evening in 2024, I sat down to speak with a gentleman named Bob. Through a mutual trusted connection, Bob had agreed to tell me about his encounter with a strange flying creature. It was a story he had rarely shared, and never with someone outside of his family. Bob was a clean-cut man in his 60s who had built his own business, raised a family, and lived a typical blue-collar life. He was clearly hesitant to share his account, but at the same time he said he was glad to finally tell someone else about what he'd seen that fall day. In 1986, Bob had traveled from his home in Pennsylvania down to West Virginia to do some hunting. He stayed the night with a friend, and the next morning they were up before dawn to see if they could bag some deer. Just after sunrise, they found themselves moving through a wooded area. About an hour into their time in the woods, Bob had an experience that has stayed with him his entire life. Bob took a slow sip of his coffee and began to relate his story. He was direct and straightforward, and quickly got to the encounter itself. He recalled, "We were out hunting. Honestly, we were hunting in a place we should not have been, legally, that is. My hunting buddy was off to the west, and at the time he was out of sight. But we were walking parallel, and we were frequent hunting partners, so we felt safe that day, even though we weren't wearing orange jackets. I was in a very small clearing and about to head into some more trees when I heard something rustling ahead. I stopped and stood completely still. Whatever it was, it sounded large, so I thought for sure it was a deer. In the next minute I saw something dark moving around, but it looked like it was moving up from the ground, which was odd. This thing went straight up, and it landed on the branch of a big tree directly in front of me. It was in an open space that made a perfect perch for it. At first I thought maybe it was a really, really big owl, but I quickly realized that it was too big for that. This thing was man-sized, and partly man-shaped, with 2 long legs and a pair of human-type arms, and it had wings. In fact, it had a massive wingspan, and when it landed, it folded its wings in part way. You could see them sticking out the sides and up over the shoulders. It had kind of a menacing hunch to it. The head, it was odd. I mean, there was a head there, but it sort of sat too far down on the shoulders, like it was somehow partly tucked into the upper body. Maybe it was the wings that caused it to look like that. I don't know.